In 2015, jihadis opened fire at the Paris headquarters of the French satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo. The magazine is famous for mocking just about everything anyone holds dear, but there is one ideology that will kill you for that, so 12 people were murdered over some Muhammad cartoons. Although the gunmen were killed 2 days after the attack, the trial for 14 accomplices began a few days ago. The magazine has been reprinting the Muhammad cartoons, so this is a good time to point out two ways the Charlie Hebdo massacre backfired. First, as with many other terrorist attacks, the Charlie Hebdo massacre caused some Muslims to seriously examine the place of violence in their religion and to consider whether their religion is true. Many Muslims ended up leaving Islam after realizing that it does promote violent attacks against critics, and that the reason Muhammad couldn't take criticism was that he was the most obvious false prophet in history. Hence, it's not surprising to read comments like this. I live in France, and the Charlie Hebdo terrorist attack was for me the first step for me to leave Islam. Then I heard you, David Wood, the apostate prophet, and Rob Christian, and you opened my eyes, thanks to Jesus Christ. In France, journalists, intellectuals are scared to tell the truth. The only one is an ex-Muslim, Zineb El-Razouy. Guess what? All French leftists say she is an Islamophobe. Crazy. So, while the Charlie Hebdo massacre was meant to protect Islam from criticism, it ended up causing Muslims to leave Islam. Second, the 2015 attack increased the French commitment to freedom of speech. After Charlie Hebdo began republishing the Muhammad cartoons this past week, the New York Times reported, one poll published Monday indicated that the 2015 attacks had strengthened the French commitment to free speech. According to IFOP, a polling firm, and the Jean Jaurès Foundation, a French think tank, 59% of respondents said that the magazine was right to publish the caricatures in the name of free speech, up from 38% in 2006. It shows that the French are finally ruling in favor of the newspaper for having dared to publish these cartoons, said François Kraus, a political analyst who oversaw the study. So, in 2006, only 38% of French people thought it was right to publish Muhammad cartoons in the name of free speech. 14 years later, and following multiple Islamic terrorist attacks, 59% of French people think it's right to publish Muhammad cartoons in the name of free speech. The jihadis who opened fire in 2015 were trying to convince Westerners in general, and the French in particular, that making fun of Muhammad is completely unacceptable. Instead, the jihadis made it more acceptable. Thanks to the tireless efforts of terrorists, mocking Muhammad has a higher approval rating than it's had at any other point in our lifetimes. If this trend continues, we can only imagine what kinds of insults and mockery the future holds for the caravan robbing, apostate killing, wife beating, captive raping, child molesting false prophet of Islam. Jihadis of the world, I do not approve of your violence, but I absolutely love the way you're destroying your violent ideology. You've sent me so many viewers, so many subscribers, so many supporters. No matter what happens in the coming months, no matter how much mockery I rain down on your fake prophet and your stupid, boring book, just remember, you complete me.